At Chicago's Brookfield Zoo, a young gorilla named Binti Jua attracted visitors' attention with her calm and curious behavior. Since she was little, Binti had been a gorilla unlike the others. Rejected by her mother at birth, Binti was welcomed and cared for by human keepers, who dedicated themselves to teaching her basic behaviors and guiding her with affection. Over time, Binti developed a peaceful character, especially towards the other gorillas and the cubs in her group. Despite living in a fenced enclosure, where wild nature was artificially recreated, Binti had an intelligent and attentive look, as if she saw beyond the barriers of glass and concrete. For her, each day was a new opportunity to explore and observe the visitors who admired her from behind the safety of glass. There was something about his calm, protective manner that captivated the audience. The keepers, who knew the gorilla well, noticed how it seemed to understand human gestures and expressions, as if a deeper connection with its caretakers had formed over the years. Because of her special temperament, Binti has become a favorite among zookeepers. She took care of the puppies delicately, almost like a foster mother, watching the young ones and warding off any danger. His emotional intelligence was visible and aroused special admiration in everyone. Those who knew her knew that Binti possessed an unusual sense of protection, something that set her apart from the other members of her group. No one imagined, however, that Binti's special connection with humans and her caring nature would be put to the test in a way that would surprise the world. It was a busy Sunday at Brookfield Zoo, and families were walking between the enclosures, admiring the different animals. The gorilla enclosure was especially crowded, with children leaning against the glass and adults pointing at the creatures, basking in the sun or swinging on ropes set up in the enclosure. Among the visitors, a small boy, just 3 years old, was struggling to hold onto the railing next to the safety barrier, trying to get a closer look at the gorillas. Distracted, his parents failed to notice the imminent danger. In a quick, careless movement, the boy climbed onto the railing and, before anyone could react, lost his balance. Amid the screams of horror from the crowd, he fell from a considerable height into the enclosure, landing heavily on the rocky ground. The impact left him unconscious, completely vulnerable. The panicked screams of the visitors echoed through the space, as they stared helplessly at the unconscious boy inside the gorilla habitat. Zookeepers were running around, trying to get people away from the barrier and figure out how to act quickly. However, a human invasion of the enclosure was too risky, especially with a group of gorillas present, whose reactions were unpredictable. Inside the enclosure, the gorillas began to notice the unusual movement and approached, attracted by the sound of the fall and the screams. Among them was Binti Jua, who was watching intently the small, fragile body lying among the rocks, her eyes fixed on the boy, and something in her posture indicated intense curiosity. But there was also an eerie calm in her movements. The tension increased with each passing second, while the boy's fate seemed to be in the hands or paws of Binti. Binti Jua looked closely at the boy lying in front of her, motionless and vulnerable. She slowly approached, observing him with a mixture of curiosity and caution, while other gorillas, intrigued by the movement, approached to understand what was happening. The audience watched every movement, barely breathing, fearing that any rash action could put the boy in danger. The other gorillas began to grow restless, attracted by the unknown. Binti, noticing the growing agitation around her, took a surprising action. She positioned herself between the boy and the other gorillas, pushing them away with firm and controlled gestures. Standing on all fours, she cast warning glances at the members of her group, making it clear that the boy was under her protection. The crowd watched the gorillas' every move with increasing tension. Binti's protective behavior began to awaken hope and disbelief among those present, who expected something positive, but still feared an unexpected change in the situation. However, Binti seemed determined. She sat next to the boy, shielding him with her own body, while she carefully observed everything around her, as if she understood that he needed help. The zookeepers and staff, noticing Binti's concern, began to prepare for action, waiting for the right moment to enter and remove the boy safely. Each second of waiting intensified the tension, but Binti remained firm and calm, protecting the boy with surprising stillness. It was as if she knew that he needed her at that moment, and nothing would divert her from her mission. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Binti Jua, whose protective posture beside the boy conveyed a surprising calm. With each movement she made, the audience held their breath, as if the outcome of the scene depended on their own concentration. In an even more unexpected gesture, Binti leaned over and gently touched the boy, as if to assure him that he was okay. The crowd watched, delighted and full of hope, but also with a mixture of apprehension. With careful precision, Binti used one hand to lift the boy gently, adjusting him in her arms like a mother holding a baby. In complete silence, she took a few steps towards the entrance of the enclosure, where she knew the keepers were stationed to monitor the group of gorillas. Then she sat down again, holding the boy close to her and glancing at the keepers, as if waiting for them to approach. The zookeepers, sensing Binti's intention and the opportunity she offered, prepared to enter quickly. They opened the enclosure door and approached, ready to act gently and without alarming the gorilla. As they advanced, Binti remained calm, watching their every move and protecting the boy until the last moment. Finally, one of the keepers reached the man. With extreme delicacy, extended his hand towards the boy. Binti, as if understanding what was happening, handed it over without resistance, keeping a steady and serene gaze. As soon as the keeper took the boy in his arms, Binti took a few steps back, keeping her distance, but without looking away. She seemed satisfied, as if she had accomplished her mission. The crowd, which until then had been completely silent, erupted in applause and shouts of relief and admiration. The boy was quickly taken to the paramedics, while Binti watched the scene with an expression that seemed serene. What everyone had just witnessed was something inexplicable and deeply moving. A gorilla who, against all expected instincts, showed an unusual understanding and an unforgettable gesture of compassion. The boy was taken to hospital and, to everyone's relief, recovered without serious injuries. News of Binti's heroic act spread quickly, first among zoo visitors and then throughout the media. Soon, the entire world knew the story of the gorilla who, with a protective instinct and a rarely seen empathy, saved the life of a defenseless child. Admiration for Binti's courage and sensitivity made her a celebrity at the zoo. Visitors from all over came to see her, moved by her story and wanting to witness the kindness she demonstrated up close. For many, Binti became a symbol of compassion and proof that animals are capable of acts of empathy and understanding that transcend what many believe to be instinct. The zookeepers, who already had a special affection for her, began to view Binti with even deeper admiration. They knew she had done something extraordinary, and her actions were a living reminder that although animals are wild, they are also capable of connecting with humans in mysterious and beautiful ways. Binti Jua continued her quiet life at Brookfield Zoo, but she was now seen as a true hero. She inspired articles, documentaries, and studies on animal behavior, becoming an enduring example of how animals can display qualities that touch the human heart deeply. Her story is still told today, reminding us all of the amazing compassion found in the animal kingdom and the importance of respecting and valuing every living thing.